All right, settle in, because this isn't just some campfire tale I made up. This is a story that actually made the news. A ghost story that unfolded in the heart of one of America's most haunted cities, New Orleans. We're not talking about some vague shadow in a window. We're talking about a haunting so intense, so specific, that it baffled investigators and left a family running for their lives. Our story begins in 2007. A young couple, let's call them Todd and Jessica, found what they thought was the perfect home in the Algiers Point neighborhood of New Orleans. It was an old house, sure, full of that classic NOLA charm, but the rent was right and they were excited to start their new life there. The first few weeks were fine. You know, the usual creaks and groans of an old house settling. They didn't think much of it. But then, things started to get weird. It began subtly. A whisper of a voice when no one else was home. The distinct smell of cigar smoke in a smoke-free house. Objects moving on their own. A coffee cup sliding across the counter. Doors creaking open and then slamming shut with force. At first, they tried to rationalize it. The wind, old pipes, their minds playing tricks on them. But the activity escalated. Fast, Todd started seeing a figure. A tall, slender man in old-fashioned clothing, often seen standing in the corner of their bedroom at night. Just watching. Jessica would hear disembodied footsteps pacing the upstairs hallway, heavy and deliberate. When she and Todd were both downstairs, they started feeling cold spots so intense it was like walking into a freezer. Even on a sweltering Louisiana day, the breaking point, the moment this went from creepy old house to we are in serious danger, happened one night in the kitchen. Todd was making a late-night snack when he felt a sudden sharp push from behind. He stumbled forward, catching himself on the counter and spun around. The room was empty, but he knew, with chilling certainty, that he hadn't just lost his balance. He had been shoved. Terrified, they decided they needed to know who or what was in their house. They started digging into the history of the property, and what they found turned their blood to ice. In the 1890s, the house had been owned by a man, a well-to-do gentleman who was known for his love of cigars and his temper. The story goes that he took his own life in the upstairs master bedroom, the very room where Todd and Jessica were now sleeping. The very room where Todd kept seeing the tall, slender man watching them. They had found their ghost. This is where the story hits the news. Desperate, the couple reached out to local paranormal investigators, and eventually the media picked up on it. Reporters, cameras, and ghost hunters descended on the house. And the ghost, it seems, wasn't camera shy. During one investigation, which was being filmed, an investigator's audio recorder picked up a clear, raspy voice saying, "Get out." Another time, a camera set up in the living room captured a shadowy mass moving across the wall, a feat that couldn't be explained by lighting or passing cars. The investigators confirmed the activity was not only real, but it was intelligent and malevolent. It knew the couple was there, and it wanted them gone. The final straw was an event so terrifying it's hard to even imagine. One evening, as the couple sat in their living room, virtually paralyzed with fear, they watched as the words "I'm still here" were slowly, deliberately scratched into the paint on the wall from the inside, like invisible fingers were clawing their way through the plaster. That was it. They couldn't take another second. They grabbed what they could, left almost everything else behind, and fled the house in the middle of the night. They broke their lease, abandoning their home and their possessions to escape the tormented spirit that had laid claim to it. Their story became a local legend, A chilling, real-life news report of a haunting that went too far. It serves as a stark reminder that in a city as old and as storied as New Orleans, sometimes the past doesn't stay buried. Sometimes it's waiting right inside the walls of your dream home, ready to tell you that you're not welcome.